Hey there, I'm Droid Freak, and I'm going to do something a little bit different and do a developer update for HATPCR Reborn. So, we're looking at Game Maker Studio right now, and first of all, I'm just going to catch you up on what's been going on recently, if you haven't been paying attention to it. Just a few days ago, I added flowing water, which is the last major gameplay feature that I needed. And a little bit before that, I added some GUI changes. So, if we start it up, then we can show you what's going on. Oh yeah, so I added the information tab, which has credits and links, and also the controls page that's linked to that, so that finally shows people how to actually play the game. And then we also have the options here. The options are saved when you're running it in a browser using cookies, because we have cookies now. So we can save the settings. We also save the level progress, which since I'm running it in Windows is not saved. So hang on. I just set the unlocked level to 99 instead of 0 in the default cookie. So since I'm not loading a cookie, it'll use the default values and it'll unlock all the values, all the levels. So let me relaunch it again. Alright, we're back up. So now that it has all the levels unlocked, I can actually show you the flowing water in tutorial 6. So yeah, we have flowing water. I'll fill up the level. There's also water tap crates and water crates, although they don't appear on this level or any of the campaign levels because they aren't in any of the original campaign levels. So yeah, gotta wait for the water to fill up here. And yeah, that pretty much fills you in with what's been going on in the last couple of updates. The GUI changes and the water flowing. But the main reason why I'm posting this update is to tell you about the stuff that's coming in the future. There's also a checkpoint that is based on water, and I forgot. This particular water filling code doesn't work properly when I run the game in Windows, so yeah, it just sort of stops. That's a glitch that only occurs in Windows for some reason. When I run it in HTML5, it works. There's a lot of annoying differences between the Windows Game Maker and the HTML5 Game Maker, but it's still pretty impressive that I can run the same app on both platforms. So let me quit out of this, and I'll quit out of this too. And then what I really want to talk about is a big code refactor that I'm going to do. And a lot of these changes aren't really going to show anything on the front end, although they might improve performance and stability. I don't know. But I'd like to describe these changes from the backend perspective, because when I post the update live, you're probably not going to see much that changed, but it's going to take a lot of work on my end. So I'd like to describe what exactly is going on. So currently, the game code that runs when you're in the level is split among a whole bunch of different step events and different objects. So for instance, the henna object has 3 step events actually. And the reason why I have these 3 different step events is so that the code is run at different times relative to other step events. But the order of the code processes in is really imprecise right now because, for instance, let me pull up an arrow. Arrow has a step event. Like the arrow's step event and the HANA step event, these two windows that I have pulled open, because they are both like step events, I don't necessarily know which order these two are going to process in. So the arrows might move before HANA, or the HANA might move before the arrows. I think, does she actually move in the step event? I think she moves in the end step event. But the point is that, like, I don't know which order these events are going to process in. I know that all the end step events are going to happen after the step events, and all the begin steps are going to happen before, but within each of those three categories, I can't really control it. So, one of the major things that I'm going to do with the refactor is I'm going to remove all of these step events except for the ones in CaveMaster. CaveMaster is the, like, dungeon master object, basically, and I'm going to move all the code that's processes into CaveMaster so that all of the code runs in one event, and that one event can precisely control the order that all the code executes in. I think that will remove a lot of errors, because I've removed errors in the past by switching step events around to try and switch the order that things execute in, but I don't have enough control with the way I currently do things. So this is going to be a pretty big refactoring change, and I'm going to like move all the code from step events to scripts that are run by CaveMaster. So they're all going to go in this scripts tab here, and I'm going to have to expand and make that make a lot more sense. I'm going to have to categorize them, because at the moment there's already a bunch in this category, and there's going to be even more. But yeah, loads and loads of scripts are going to replace all those step events. Speaking of which, scripts are also going to replace all of these user-defined events in each things, because those are basically scripts already. They're just like trying to be methods that run in the object, but I'm having some issues with them. I already replaced a few of those with scripts, so scripts should run a lot more cleanly than those. That's going to be another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to move all of those from user-defined events to scripts instead. Another thing that I'm going to do in this refactor, I'm going to eliminate most of the rooms that I have right now. At the moment, there are like a whole bunch of different rooms down here. I mean, not that many, but most of these rooms are not necessary. And for instance, RM pause is just a paused version of the regular room. And if all of the all the game code is running in Game Master, it should be trivial to pause the game. In fact, it would be fairly trivial to pause the game already, because currently I'm only running half as many game ticks when when the slow-mo is turned on. That's another thing that I added recently, is slow motion. But when slow-mo is turned on, I'm already disabling half the game ticks. I could easily disable all the game ticks, so the pause room is totally superfluous. I'm also going to replace all of the different menu rooms with just one top menu room, and have an object that's similar to the CaveMaster object, but for menus. And all of the menu code will run in that object. So we won't have to worry about the different menu rooms anymore. All of those are going to be condensed into just a few rooms. So we're not going to have all of that messy code going on in different rooms. Another thing that I'm going to condense down is currently most of the blocks in the level are being drawn with tiles, and then they're being collided with in arrays. But I'm going to actually revert that sort of to the way it was earlier, but hopefully in a way that performs better. And I'm going to remove all of those tiles and instead only have objects. So all of the terrain is going to be objects. All the tiles, like crates and so on, all going to be objects instead of. So I can get rid of all of these backgrounds that I have, because at the moment I have like duplicate sprites, because I have the sprites for all of the tiles and I have the backgrounds for all the tiles. But instead, everything is going to be sprites, everything is going to be objects, and I'm going to rework the collision code to collide with objects, but like with objects that are stored in an array, to make things a whole lot cleaner than they are currently. Sorry, got a bit of a cough right now. But yeah, the collision code is going to be reworked, and that's pretty much it. That's quite a lot that's going on. To recap, we're moving a lot of events from various different objects into the Cavemaster object. So the Cavemaster object is going to be running everything, which should clear up a lot of the code there and make things run in the correct order. We're going to eliminate a lot of the rooms and like simplify the number of rooms that we have. Going to change the drawing, so that instead of drawing things as tiles, we're only going to draw them as objects. And I'm going to change the collision code to run off of objects again, but in a more optimized way than it was happening early on. So hopefully the collision code will actually be faster than it is currently, but we'll see. What I'm hoping with this refactor is to make the game run significantly faster and with fewer bugs in general. Certainly running everything in the Cavemaster object instead of in like various different objects should make things have a lot less bugs in them, because I think a significant amount of the bugs that I'm getting are because events are running in the wrong order. So if I make everything run in the right order, then it should be a lot easier to get things to work properly every time. So that's it for this update. I'm going to be working on actually performing this refactoring over the next few days or however long it takes. So it might be a while until the next update goes live, and it probably won't have that many like features besides the refactored code, but hopefully the refactored code will make a big difference. It's sort of similar to the big rendering update I did a while ago when I actually switched from object-based collisions to tile-based collisions, which I'm actually going to be reversing now. But I think with as much experience as I have at this point, I can make object-based collisions work in an efficient way without them like bogging down the game as much as they did before. And that should simplify things a lot. Simplifying the code is usually a good thing. But yeah, hopefully this will improve the performance and improve the reliability. So we'll see.